Thanks for checking out another episode of Bad Advice with Chris Cubis, the show where unqualified people give unsolicited advice. This week we're joined by two of my favorite people, Arlo Weierhauser and Emma Arnold. We get this really swing dancing and gay panic. It's wild. Give it a listen. Thanks for checking out a new episode of Bad Advice with Chris Cubis, the show where unqualified people give unsolicited advice. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for rocking with us. We've got some emails. Somebody's sent us a Dear Abby letter from or maybe not Dear Abby, but an advice column letter from the 1800s, which was fucking rad. So thank you guys for checking it out. We've got some awesome guests this week. Up first, they are absolutely hilarious. They're special. They're I almost called it Uncut Gems. I'm sorry, that is not the name. That's not. It's
so
something
cool.
like that.
So accurate.
When I find it and it's close, y'all gonna feel bad for making fun of me. You can just say it, by the way. It's like I know now you got
it's
me.
Unprotected sets.
Unprotected sets. I'm pretty close. All right, Arlo Weierhauser's with us. How's it going?
Hi. It's also the name of the special is something that I cannot say with a straight face to my parents. They're like, "How do we see it?" And we're like, "Just don't, hon. Just don't." You can skip this one.
Would it be okay if you didn't have to say the name to them? Are your parents okay with your comedy as a rule?
Oh yeah, they're huge, aggressive fans.
Awesome.
Huge fans. They're fans of all of yours. They will listen to this.
That is,
they love it.
That's awesome. We were having a little fun because you had some. There was a Zoom filter. This was my first Zoom filter interaction. That was a surprise. Your eyebrows were floating there pretty good. Were you like Zooming a child before this?
I like snitching on each other. No. I like that we start with snitching. No, I like it. No, I like it. No, I love it.
I apologize. There were no eyebrows. I made that up. This was all it's a podcast bit. No one can see. They don't know.
I have this standing friend group Zoom where we play games and fight, and it's my favorite thing. And I just get bored sometimes, and so I was doing my makeup just for fun at 11 p.m.
Sure.
And then I was like, do you know what's better than having to do makeup? Filters. So it's just randomly applying filters. Nice. They're free.
Also with us this week, another hilarious comic, one of my favorites, Emma Arnold. How are you?
I'm good.
How is Idaho? By the way, I'm in Austin, Texas. Everybody already knows that. And we are dying. There is no power in half of our city. The roads are all closed. H-E-B, our grocery store chain, closed. And they are, people in Texas just went, what the fuck? Because H-E-B is who we turn to in crisis. And that's instead of the government. And that's not me being funny. They have been the only people to get us water when there's hurricanes. All that shit all comes from the grocery store for them to close. Serious fucking business. So if you're listening, I hope you're warm. I know you said you got a foot of snow. Has it been okay otherwise?
I mean, I feel bad because I'm just going to be it's so cozy because, we didn't have anywhere to go all weekend. And it was just kind of sweet and cozy. And we didn't get any snow this winter, which is rare. And it's been a weird year. And I actually put in my garden, my cool weather garden last weekend because I was like, well, I guess we're done. And then we got a foot of snow. But yeah, no, I feel bad because everybody, it's so terrible down there. And I'm just oh, we love it up here. So yeah,
you should.
Nice.
Look, I'm happy. We're very lucky in our house that we have not lost power. So I definitely see what the growth I've experienced is instead of just getting hammered for the last 2 days, which is how I definitely would have spent snow days prior. I've built a puzzle, and today I made vegetable broth.
Oh,
that's how.
nice.
So it's been
yeah.
I
love that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I made a real flavorful vegetable broth that I used to cook some quinoa earlier.
Ooh.
That's where I'm at as a adult.
That's nice. I feel like I've been making bone broth since I was like 18 because that's just always been like my go-to, like when the world's falling apart. I'm like, well, we better make a bone broth. So it's like a big stability thing for me. So I love that. I love that you're making broths.
Hell yeah. And Arlo, where are you these days? You've told me and I already forgot.
LA. I sent you a real shitty video of like, oh, everyone's snowed in, everyone has no power. Here's my sunny porch.
Yeah, I feel like
it's winter here too. Right.
People can't see that your hair is blonde, and I think that just is from the beautiful sun. It's not even dyed. It's just from the weather.
It's just, I get that much sun.
It looks great, though, by the way. I haven't said that yet, but it does look
it looks so cute. I love it.
It's an inside job, and I'm kind of proud of it. The dye came from inside the house.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Let's go ahead and jump into a couple of these letters because I am excited to hear your take on a few of these. Let's go ahead and start with this one. Dear Abby, I am a 52-year-old single straight male. For some reason, only men seem to be attracted to me. If I sit at a table in a restaurant or a bar, a man will come over and sit next to me. If I go to a park, a man will sit next to me on the bench. Walking down the street, random men approach me. It's terrible. Excuse me, I'm joking. Hold on, I'm just scrolled on my screen. It's terrible. I'm straight. Please help. Signed, Unique Problem in California.
Oh, honey.
Oh,
First of all,
sounds like people just want to be friends with you. It's just like
I have to put this out there. I don't know that any of that happened.
Yeah.
That seems like a wild, you know what I'm saying?
It feels like one time he was hit on and then he's like everywhere.
Yeah. I just asked if you wanted Diet Coke with that Subway sandwich. This is not a weird
like, no, I don't want to fuck you.
Yeah.
Yikes, Bob.
Yeah, I can't imagine, like, also, I feel like there has to be some questions on him. Like, let's, for the sake of argument, say these interactions are happening.
Sure.
Right? One, awesome. That seems like it might be annoying at some point that you can't be left alone, but also like just be complimented that people, on some level. This isn't
you're 52. You're 52, and a bunch of gay men are like, "Oh, I cannot get enough of this." Like that means you are
Dad.
Brad Pitt 52.
Yeah.
Like that's
Silver Fox.
That's a hot 52.
Question: where is he in California?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I was thinking too.
Important question. I want to know your bandana situation. I want to know maybe you've got the wrong pocket or something. I don't know what you're doing, but but also like there is a little bit of a different, like, if this was a woman who was constantly being hit on by dudes, I wouldn't say, just take it. It's like a compliment. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, guys are horrible.
Right.
But, like, if you're just a dude, like, I promise you these guys, like, he's not even saying, here's the wild part. He never says that they're hitting on him.
No, they're just near him. So, like,
they're just around him. They're just men that are, like, striking up a conversation in public.
A man got on the bus, and you're like, well, that's not actually a sexual interaction.
Yeah, exactly. That bench is a 2-person bench at the park. There's designed for more than one person.
First of all, like, how are you new to the entitlement of men? Like, how is this brand new to you? Welcome,
you've been doing it for 52 years.
They'll literally do anything they'll just do anything. They're loose out here. They're just
feral. They're feral in these streets.
I think he got, like, an oopsie doodle gay haircut, and then it's just like sending out like a vibe.
Maybe he's sending out the wrong vibe.
And then like got sensitive about it because like men will absolutely like push a pregnant lady with 3 children out of the way to be like, bench mine. Like,
yes, absolutely.
They're just dicks.
Yes.
But I want to say though, I don't know that like if he was describing that, if these situations were, look, I can't go anywhere without men constantly, aggressively, sexually talking to me.
Right.
That would he would state that in the letter. You know what I'm saying? Because that sides to his argument.
Right.
That would enhance his argument. He doesn't say any of that. All he says is, if I sit at a bar, a man will sit next to me. Bitch, that's the bar. That's where you're supposed to sit. Like,
yeah.
I really am thinking that this is just a 52-year-old man. I wonder if he's new to California. Maybe he just moved from his tiny little town and is not used to, like, big city interactions.
Yeah, and thought West Hollywood was a cool neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems friendly. I don't know.
I love rainbows. They're so pretty. This is a great place. All these
What if
flags,
he just
I
has
love
no
them.
idea?
Just completely has no idea. That's very
He loves
funny.
rainbows. He's just wearing rainbows and he doesn't realize they're a pride symbol.
Right.
No
He's like,
clue.
Yeah.
what's the deal?
He's wearing them. Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking that this is a straight man at 52 who recently watched a movie, like he watched Intolerable Cruelty, had sexual feelings for George Clooney, and now is like, I better write this aggressively straight letter to Dear Abby
So people
because
know.
I'm feeling things I never felt before.
Mhm.
He's just busy projecting so hard. Like he just found out the gays flirt in public, and he's like, "See, it's been happening everywhere."
But they keep talking to me. Yeah, or either that or he's just bragging.
You know what? There's a
Get it,
good
Daddy.
chance. I wonder if there is someone he knows that he's interested in, that he knows for a fact reads Dear Abby, and he's just like trying to make himself seem desirable to that person by reflecting. You know what I mean? They're like, he's
low
brought that up to
stakes
her,
way.
and now he's letting it show in the paper so he can get Dear Abby's response to it. I think maybe the bragging of it is him trying to like show off.
They're going to be like at coffee and he's going to be pretending to read the paper and they'll be like, this is wild. This happens to me.
Yeah. What do you
so
think?
funny.
Also, it's terrible, he yells at the end of this letter. Like, I do, at the end of the day, also, calm down. Like, there is no way it's that. I mean, that's
Wait,
not.
what does he yell?
As you've decided, men are terrible. And if they were being, like, dick-grabbingly, like, aggressive, that would be one thing.
Which
But
is
this situation
the
just
level. Yeah, that's the gradient, if you will, from exists to dick-grabbingly aggressive.
Yeah.
That is the spectrum.
Also, he does say, "I'm straight!" exclamation point,
Okay,
which is
honey, that's
one of the gayer things you can get.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's like one of my
Wait.
neighbors has a big Dodge truck, and on the truck, he has a bunch of stickers of like very muscular rams, with their arms crossed with like the horns, but then they have like buff, muscly arms, and I feel like
Yikes.
that's the equivalent of this letter.
Yeah.
Because,
That's so funny. He had to like he had to like anthropomorphize them to make them have arms so
Yeah.
they can also then be muscular.
I love
like that's how straight he is.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I love
Yeah.
someone's so straight they're accidentally a gay furry. Oops! Oh, slippery slope. You can fall right off that cliff.
Oh, there was a bar here in Austin. It's closed a number of years ago, but it was called like Bulldogs, DAWGZ, and the logo was like two like tough ass bulldogs like with a cigarette playing pool, but the one was like bent over the table very alluringly. It was very.
They know what they're
funny to
doing.
me.
They know what they're doing. with
Yeah.
With that
Bulldogs.
signage. That would
I think we can let this guy just, go about his life and just maybe realize not every
way to be
interaction is-
like approachable at 52 because not a lot.
That also says a nice.
Not
thing,
a lot of
yeah.
men can like be that because they're horrifying looking. But like, good for him.
He must be giving off a very friendly vibe, which is also a nice quality to have. Absolutely.
You know, I wonder if he moved from the Northeast to California because something I know,
Ooh.
I've talked to people who've moved from the Northeast and they're like, everybody in their car keeps looking at me. Like when you move to the West, everybody keeps looking at me and you're like, yeah, people are very friendly in the West. And I think it'd be very disconcerting to someone from another part of the country. Like people would just be like, hello. And,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's not happening in New
I
Jersey.
moved from New York to Texas, and that was like took a few weeks of like people approaching me and just being like, "What's your angle? Like, like why are you just like hand on my wallet, backing away from people? Because like why are you being so like why are you talking to me?"
Yeah.
But I never also thought they all wanted to fuck me. Like I was like,
They
that made
did, and that was your miss. Like you
that's
fucked
on
up.
me. That's on me. I should have seen it.
But
coming.
that actually, even that is very straight male. Like he didn't need to yell, "I'm straight!" exclamation point.
He
Just the fact that he
didn't
thinks.
think they
Because
wanted
like
to fuck
if you've ever been like a barista, or a bartender,
Yeah.
every guy who you're like, okay, that'll be $7.50 is like, she's trying to fuck
She
me.
wants
And
it.
you're
She
like,
wants it. Yeah.
it's just my job.
Yeah.
Just doing my job. So
Yeah.
we knew you were straight without the exclamation point.
That is
Tony.
very true. All right, let's move on to another letter. I think this one, this one, it's not even that weird, but the end part made me throw my eyes back. Dear Abby, I'm a very good swing dancer. I'm 22 and have been doing it since my sophomore year of high school. When I dance, I feel alive and free. My boyfriend of 2 years, Jonah, whom I love dearly, isn't good at it, but he says he wants to learn so we can dance together. We're going dancing this weekend, and truthfully, I don't want him to go. When I asked him if it'd be okay if I danced with some other dancer friends as well as with him, he said he was insulted and hurt by the question, and it would make him too jealous. I explained that I want to help him learn when he takes lessons, but in the meantime, I want to dance freely. I've ignored this issue for 2 years because I knew it would lead to a conflict. Should I suppress my love of dancing until Jonah is at my level, or follow my heart and dance my socks off? Signed, Ballroom Betsy.
Oh my God. Speaking of straight men.
Are any straight people okay? Are any straight people okay?
No, you're 100% correct. 2 years! This has been bubbling underneath the surface. This need to swing dance with better swing dancers.
So, like, I do wonder if they have been going to lessons and then she's just stuck with this fucking lead-footed idiot who's also aggressively jealous. And she's just
this
like,
Jonah.
right? I love that she included the name. Like, I don't know why, but I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Jonah.
It's in quotation marks, and I promise you that's his real name.
Yeah.
That is not a quote. She put that shit in.
No, his name is just John, and she's like, that's enough.
I would like to add in that, yes, he is aggressively jealous about the least sexual dance style
Literally.
I can even imagine.
Yeah.
Most of swing dancing is just throwing a woman around a room.
That
Watch
advanced
people that are
theatrical
really good at
swing dancing. Most of swing dances is box step, foxtrot. Like, it's so, it's just walking in a shape. Name a shape, walk in that shape.
I don't have any sympathy for either of these people, and I can say this because I was a swing dancer. Yeah, and I did it like semi-professionally, let's just say semi-professionally. So I can say this, but like, you know, when you're at a bar and everybody's dancing and it's like hip hop music and then a couple starts swing dancing in the middle of that.
Oh, yeah.
Swing dancers are the worst people in the world. And so I already am against both of these people. And I can say that because I was a swing dancer. Like, that makes me wildly angry when somebody just starts hogging the whole dance floor with the swing dance. And you're like, no. So I don't know. Maybe she and Jonah deserve each other, you know? Like,
she deserves this albatross of a swing dance partner who's still struggling, with the fucking...
Look, it's been 2 years and you haven't at least... There is no, like, saying that no matter how hard you try, you're just not going to be good at a thing.
Right.
That happens. So maybe after 2 years, you just got to say, swing dance isn't for me. Go have fun. I'll sit at the bar, whatever it is. Like, you can't, I do feel a little bit bad for her in that, like, you got to move on. Like, you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't just let this man say you're not allowed to dance with any of your friends or whatever because he feels bad about his fucking 2 left feet.
I wish there's so many stand-up comedians that we could say this to. Honey, it's just not.
Oh, yeah.
it's not going to happen.
It's not going to, for sure.
You're fucking up everybody else's time, too.
Yeah, it's almost as if like the analogy would work if being bad at swing dancing then made no one else enjoy swing dancing for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you ruined swing dancing for everyone in the room.
Who witnessed it.
Yeah, exactly.
I am picturing this couple too, and it's like, it's so... Like, you just know she is so adorable in her, like, little pinafore dress with, like, the poof skirt. And she's got the little, 20s curls. And then he just, like, hasn't cut his toenails in 8 months. You know?
Yeah,
just,
he insists on wearing his couple, like, docks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or just
he's
Jordans.
52
No,
and
wearing Jordans to the fucking...
And he's 52 and exclamation point straight, you know?
Straight
Like...
up.
Oh, here's the thing. I kind of think this man is incredibly straight. I think he is like, she is, like you said, dolled up to the nines, ready to go swing dancing, and he is like wearing his shirt from work. Like he is not, he's not
Just
willing to put any
Quiznos.
Yeah, it's just got
With
Jonah
shorts.
on the side. Yeah,
With
exactly.
shorts. Just shows up smelling like bread. And she's like, come on, Jonah.
Wear the pants I laid out for you. Jonah, please. I'm asking you. These are my friends.
I take this seriously. I go to bowling with you. We bowl every Tuesday, and I put on my little bowling shirt. I wear rented shoes for you. Just do this for me.
Just do this one thing. There's like a toxicity that's almost canceled out by being like, you go dancing. It's like, ugh, like being that insecure in your masculinity, but then going because you're that insecure that your like girlfriend is going to dance with someone else, which is the point of the activity.
Yeah.
So there's like this duality of like,
that is a dude who knows
much
he
of a
deserves to be cheated on.
Yes.
Like he knows she should cheat on him with one of those beautiful dance partners. One of those guys is so in love with her and would be so nice to her, you know? And
like
Jonah
defense hard.
Yeah, he's not so much dancing around her as just like laying a perimeter. He is just sort of yeah, exactly, for sure.
That's why he wears that Quiznos shirt, so it like establishes a pheromone circle. No one wants to dance with the red guy.
That's so funny. Yeah. Also, again, what threw me initially was that I have ignored. Like at some point, though, I do like. You have to take responsibility for your place in a situation. Right. I have ignored this issue for 2 years. You got to stop ignoring that issue. Like, you have to say, look, either I get to dance with my friends because this is an important outlet for me, or we're like, you. It's wild to say swing dance ruined our relationship, but maybe in this case it should.
Also,
Go ahead, hon. Go ahead.
I was going to say, also, I don't trust any rockabilly fucker in the world. They're all racist. So fuck you. But I hope that your dance hall is closed forever. Fuck you, rockabilly racist shit. However, they do get really mad if you call them rockasillies. And I have been in 3 fights in Vegas for that. So,
please. Did you coin the phrase "rockasillies"?
No,
by the way?
That's every punk in Vegas. That is common nomenclature. Is because there will be regular like clashes of like venues or whatever. Because there'll be like a punk band and then like a rock band, and the rockabilly sillies were like, "We'll come in." They were like, "Well, we're gonna fight. All right, here we go." But also, my point just being like, there's so many other like cool dances.
Yeah.
Like, I love that that's hers. And, like, she probably has some problematic views about black people, but, like...
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely have the opinion that if you are obsessed with any old-timey subculture...
But specifically mid-century, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A mid-century American kind of subculture, there's a racist tinge.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Deep in there.
Yeah, and super misogynist too, because I've known a lot of people in that, like in those type of relationships, and they typically have a very traditional,
machismo,
you know,
machismo,
you know.
Oh, I knew several rockabilly couples where the dude like picked out the wife's clothes for her.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. And hey, by the way, if that's your thing and you're both into it, have fun.
Go on.
It never gave me that vibe.
But again, that's another one of those like. It's almost too gay to be straight, but it's also aggressively too straight to be gay.
Yeah. Picking out your wife's clothes for sure. Yeah.
Like you're just that toxic. You're like, this could be gay, but no, you're just a dick.
Yeah.
Just very controlling.
Yeah. Ew. I don't know. My parents met dancing tango, and like my dad, I don't know I love my dad so much now, but like he also raised me and he's wild. But he met my stepmom dancing tango, and like he like unlearned some like kind of toxic, I don't know, ingrained things. Like my dad in his 60s, even in his like 50s, like kind of came into himself and like realized like, oh, like the world's bigger, and learned a lot of stuff. But also tango taught him like, oh, just like don't be a dick. Don't wear spicy deodorant. No one enjoys that. Like don't. Like if you're gonna be sweaty, bro, the rayon shirt isn't gonna hit. Like no one wants to off the rayon shirt.
Very clingy.
Like he became more aware of himself, and so like kind of became a better person through tango. And like my stepmom is a tango instructor, and so she regularly dances just with other women, and like that's an option too in swing. Like that exists. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounds shitty. That sounds like Margaret, whatever her name is, that wrote the book about the hoods. You know what I'm talking about.
Emma, can I ask a question about that? And then you say that, and this is coming from a place of complete ignorance about swing dancing. I would imagine there's a fair amount of like leading and following as it is in most dances, right?
Yeah, so I in high school worked at a 50s diner, and the woman who owned it.
That is adorably on brand. Is the best way I can describe that. That feels so right.
Oh God, it is, isn't it? Oh God. Yeah, I started as a waitress, and then I had done a bunch of dance classes. I mean, I was a dancer, but I had done a bunch of dance stuff, and they were like, "Hey, we want to start having like these nights where like you perform for the customers." And so I became a dancer there instead, and we did swing dancing, and definitely a lot of leading and following, and definitely every single guy I danced with was so toxic.
Yeah.
So toxic. Like always they were complete womanizers, and they were like really, really super macho, machismo-y type guys. One of the guys once we did this move where he would I would do a handstand on his hands, and then he would throw me. It was kind of cheerleader. Like he would throw me, and then I would have to land, and he dropped me on my head. Jeez. And afterward, he screamed at me in the alley for making him look bad. Like literally dropped me. Like I could have broken my neck. Had a concussion, was like in the back, like nauseous and in the, like crying in the alley. And he came out and screamed at me for making him look bad. So yeah, I didn't have like a great relationship with it, you know, like
dance, sure.
It's not like I was like, oh, it was a really fun time in my life. Like, and I worked there, I think, for 2 years, and I danced every single weekend, right. I would like, there were like 4 of us or 5 of us, I guess, and you would cycle through like the male partners, and they all were Jonas. They were all Jonas. That's what they were. Jonas. Just a bunch of Jonas. So
would you have continued your swing dancing career had the men not been as terrible? Was it something you would have enjoyed without them?
No, because honestly, it's more like cheerleading. Like
very aerobic.
Arlo said, like it's like theatrical. It was like acrobatic, and it wasn't like actual dancing. Like it's very fast. Like I love the foxtrot stuff and like the waltzes and the stylistic dancing, but like the actual throwing stuff was. And and like it was very manhandly. Like I would be covered in bruises sometimes, like afterward, because it's very like fast and hard. And I just think you age out. It's probably like cheerleading. Eventually, your knees can't do it anymore. You're just done.
It definitely, I think, it's it's such a weird thing where like that still is a thing because of the movie Swingers, right? Like that movie existed, and then people started going to swing dancing again. I think I'm not going to say it wasn't like a small pocketed thing in places,
right.
But that's definitely why the mainstream took again, and why we had like Brian Setzer records.
But that's in Vegas. Like I don't know, but I spent too much of my 20s. Some would say in Vegas, and like. Reverend Horton Heat, Brian Setzer, Terry Papadat, like they were still touring constantly. Like I personally been not proud of it to like 5 different Reverend Horton Heat concerts, like shows, I guess. Concerts. Who am I? And also,
don't worry, I catch myself saying old timey shit like concert all the
time. What is wrong with me? I also, speaking of like people doing the wrong dance in the wrong place, like they would mosh at Rev shows, and it's like, okay, this is the one time.
Do you see how shiny these penny loafers are? This isn't a mosh pit.
Yeah, what are you doing? Like, this is the one time to do the fucking stupid dance. And they're like, mosh, maybe mosh.
It's funny too, because it was only a few years ago where I think I finally went like, oh, cherry poppin' daddies. That's not great, I guess.
I for sure caught on to that late.
Yeah.
I caught on to what that meant late. I wouldn't say like within the last 5 years, but like definitely at the time I didn't get it, and then it took maybe 5 years after they were popular for me to be like,
thinking about it, I was in high school, and the guys I was dancing with were over 25 for sure. So and they would try to fuck all the high schoolers who worked there. So you know, it's like Okay, yeah. So cherry poppin' daddy. So
It
yeah,
fits,
this girl,
yeah.
this girl's in a problematic part of her life.
Did we just get confused because Scroll Nut Zipper came out around the same time, and then we're like, I don't know, just words.
Is that also, maybe that also is some disgusting thing, like we just don't know?
I have no
Squirrel
idea.
nut zippers is some sort of sexual thing that we're just not aware
I
of.
feel like I'm gonna.
It's also virgin related.
Yeah.
And we just did not realize.
It's got nut in it, and zipper doesn't sound great after it. So
Also, and I'm sorry to be graphic here, but preferring now as an adult, I'm like preferring virgins has got to be one of the craziest things I've ever.
The creepiest thing, yeah,
like,
for sure.
Oh.
No, 100%. Like, you want awkwardness. Like, it just doesn't make any sense for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this one. Dear Abby, my friend's husband has been writing a novel for several years. He just published it and it's available on Amazon. He gave me a copy, asked me to read it, and enter a great review on the Amazon page. The problem is the book is filled with misused and misspelled words, and there is missing punctuation. He even switched the names of 2 characters. His wife, who is a perfectionist, was his editor. Aside from the fact that I don't want to finish the book, I know he or my friend will ask me how I liked it. I don't want to lie because I'm afraid if someone else brings these things to their attention, they'll know I didn't read it or think I should have told them. I know they will be embarrassed if I bring it to their attention. Frankly, I think it's too late to say anything negative because the book has already been printed. I also don't want to cause hurt feelings because I know how long he worked on this project and he's proud of it. How do I handle this? Signed, Reader in the Southwest. I think you just shut the fuck up. Like, I don't need to be horrible, but like, can't you just lie on Amazon? I don't understand why you can't just go 2 thumbs up in the Amazon review page.
Like, they're gonna come for you and be like, well, because of this one bullshit review you left. we can't trust your reviews on towels. What are you?
She's like, this goes on my permanent record, and I don't want to lie.
Also, fuck this author. Hurt his feelings. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, also that true. Yeah, for sure.
You're also bad at writing, bud.
I used to format and publish people's self-published books. Like, that's how I made a living when the kids were little.
Man,
and
interesting life. Yeah. Swing dancer, publishing editor.
Well, because I self-published a lot when the Kindle first came out. I was self-publishing erotica on there, and then I from there started making money helping other people publish their stuff. And the most brutal one I would edit, but that was more money. So if I was going through something and there was like a bunch of garbage, like I was like, none of my business, because that's extra money. But one time this woman published a book and it was not good. Like, it was so many misspellings and it did not make any sense. It was like ostensibly about her mother. The plot made no sense at all. Very, very, very nice woman. And afterward, her husband, like, I was there at her house, like, it was published, it was up, I was helping her with like social media stuff. Her husband was like, yeah, it's just like not a good book. It's just like a really bad book. Like, it's not well written and you didn't really edit it very well. And she was like, started crying, and I was just like, okay, cool. Well, I'm just going to take my check and go. But I feel like if she could live through that, this guy could live through like what their neighbor being like, oh, it wasn't really my cup of tea, Yeah. And she went on to self-publish 5 more books. So,
It's not illegal. You can just publish whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I don't even think that you would have to like submit a review that's like, oh, I didn't really like it. I think, and this might just be heavy-duty Virgo shit coming out, just being like, overall, fine, but like I don't think it's bad to be specifically you changed 2 names of the characters.
That's very bad. That is very
like, do you want to circle back to that or acknowledge that in any way? Also, yes, there's some like punctuation. I think that I could get away with more technical feedback and avoid like very good novel. You know what I mean? Like,
good or bad.
Yeah. Like,
here's the problem. You asked after the book's already out. I get what she's saying. Like, do I point out that you don't know what this word means since you can't change it? You know what I'm saying? Like, the book's that it's done. Also, we're all sitting here lying our asses off because how many terrible comics have you seen and not said shit? And give it 0 and like, oh, no. And I'm not saying you necessarily went on and said, great set, you killed it, but like also didn't point out all their flaws.
Like, what's your go-to, like, not to out you, but like, what's your go-to, your friend who you like bombs and you don't want to crush them? I mean, if it's a good friend, you're like, heartbreaking stuff.
That's my favorite shit. There's nothing more fun than one of your best friends bombing at a show. And it doesn't matter.
I miss
like, I'm not
that.
saying a TV set or something, but like at a bar show and you ate shit. The funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
To this day,
good.
I have told this story 100 times and I'll never not tell it. It's very quick. We were at a showcase at Cap City for like some agency, doesn't matter. My friend Jake Flores, hilarious, been on this podcast, went up and did he used to do this joke about college football when he'd be like, "Do you guys love college football?" And they'd all cheer and he'd be like, "Well, I don't." And that would be his lead into his college football chunk. So he sets up, "You guys love college football?" They all cheer. He goes, "Well, I don't." 400 people at Cap City just start booing. Actively booing. The best noise in the world.
Oh, that's exciting.
I in my head, I go, I gotta find my friend Nick so Nick can see everybody booing at Jake.
Yeah.
I turn to my right, my friend Nick is booing Jake next to me. My favorite thing in the world. There's nothing funnier.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's my favorite thing. That being said, let's say, even if they didn't bomb, my go-to thing for if a comic went up and I just don't think they're very good, I'll just be like, "Oh, they loved it."
You've said that
good.
to me.
No, don't do this. Don't do this. Also, there's a good chance they loved it, Caitlin. Oh, damn it. Sorry, I did it.
It's okay.
I blame it on the crowd. I just kind of go like, they're a little rough out there tonight.
Yeah, that's an easy one too, for sure. It's always brutal though when you do that and then go up and murder. It's like,
you're like, yeah, I guess they just got drunk, just right then.
They just in that moment got hammered. Yeah, sorry, you had to go up. Sorry, you had to go up third.
And then wow, they sobered up again. Very strange. I will absolutely give the very polite, no eye contact, just pretend that nothing happened. To medium friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna dig in. I'm gonna let you have that because that post set raw. It is kind of better to go back to a green room and just have everyone be like, anyways, have you seen outside today? To not do it.
I bombed at Cap City once, and Cubis, you were there, and it's one of those. I felt like it was a bomb. Later, people were like, "You did not," but it was okay. It was in my heart a bomb, and other people were like, "No, you were fine. They were just a little quiet." No, that's not what happened.
Okay.
But after the show, you were standing there, and when I came over, you kind of just gave me this little arm pat that was as I walked by. I was on my way towards the bathroom, and you just kind of gave me this little arm pat, yeah, it happens, you know.
Yeah, you slugger.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to give you the old knuckle chop.
I needed it. Apparently, it was
nice.
thank you for.
I will say that is the sign of someone of me giving a fuck about you, because otherwise, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, I'm just not gonna. I'll either not address it because I don't care that much, or I will just be like, "Oh, damn, you bombed." I'll just fucking say it. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
There's nothing worse, I think, than bombing and then getting off stage and people telling you didn't. That's the worst fucking thing in the world. Because, bitch, I know what just happened.
Yeah.
I was up there.
Yeah.
I'm the one who it happened to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also, that's going back to this letter, but it's related also to comedy, is I personally, I don't mind criticism. If somebody's hey, you fucked that up, I'm always sort of curious about it. If it's someone I respect and if it's good criticism, I'm always so if I publish a book and you're this is trash, please tell me, for the love of God. Don't let me just be, handing it out. But I feel same in comedy, if I get off stage and I know in my heart I bombed, and then people are like, no, you were great. I just know to never trust that person's opinion.
Quickest way to write them off. I will absolutely say when I mean it, and I know it doesn't often get received that way, but when I mean it that I liked it and they didn't, I will make that known. I fucking enjoyed the shit out of it.
100%. And that is
Do I include the reason that I liked it sometimes? No. Do I think bad things are funny? Yeah, often. Very often.
Oh, yeah.
But I will make sure, I fucking love that shit. I don't give a shit about them. Not that they're bad or good. I don't blame the audience, but I will absolutely say I liked it. Did I like it for the wrong reasons? Maybe. We'll talk later.
I don't mind bombing. Same with if you wrote, I've written a bunch of books, and some of the earlier ones were this guy's book, and they were bad. And one time I entered this Amazon Prime contest for first novels, and I submitted mine, and this person wrote back, this gay man wrote back, and he was like, as a gay man, this makes me personally hate the author. And I was like,
God.
okay,
Oof.
good note to have, you know? Like, I wasn't like, fuck
the
this guy.
gays.
I was like, the gays hate this. The gays hate it. And so I was just like, got it. So I feel like I don't, like, when I bomb, I'm always kind of like, oh, okay, good to know. You know, it's not like, I don't know. I just don't hate it.
Because again, I know what happened.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm already refiguring shit out. And that's a learning opportunity. Do I need some dipshit to be like, no, I do not. That sound, I will fight you. But no,
there is,
yeah. And that also goes
there
with
is
my
one,
favorite,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
sorry, my favorite reaction to anyone murdering.
that noise.
To actually killing on stage and come off and just be like, ugh, better luck next time. Yikes, bub.
Everything we have just said implies some amount of self-awareness that I am not sure the author of this book has.
Getting back to that.
Yeah.
Like there was a thing that's happened here. I think if you go as far as publishing a book where you have changed the names of two characters, you might have a inflated sense of your own ability.
Delusion.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There's the word. Yeah, I was trying to be nice, but there's the word.
Precision of like.
Yeah, and asking people to review it too. I think like puts people in a real spot of being like, will you review this? Like that is definitely, at that point,
Yeah.
I would just ignore it. That's honestly how I deal with like a lot of conflict is I just go like, I'm just not ever going to mention
right
this.
In the face. I love addressing it because otherwise I take it home and I feel like I shouldn't. So I feel like I always want to address things. I like it face to face. I love confrontation. But also this to me implies that this person who wrote this book has such an inflated, like delusional sense of ego where like they really just thought that like the bones of the story were so mind blowing that it was above petty criticism.
Writers think like spelling
language,
and using more
spelling.
Yeah.
Names of character. They thought it was that good. And to me, that begs a little bit of like groundedness.
Yeah, because what? Do you want him to write another book?
I mean,
that's hilarious.
And then you're probably going to have to read that one too.
For the wrong reason.
If you don't say something, you're in a loop forever of reviewing this guy's garbage book.
Which to me is very funny. I would encourage him to write another. But because, my intentions are pure. It's fucking hilarious.
I also think, I guess, this is probably the mom in me, but like, I also think people are allowed to make bad art, it's okay. Like, it's okay to make bad art. Cause like, I probably am saying that cause like, I paint and not very well. And so I'm always like, people are allowed to just do things for the fun of it. Okay. Right. But like the fact that he's asking for good reviews, then that's a whole other.
Specifically, because then you're like, honest or good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
All right, we can move on. I think we've got time for maybe one or two more. Let's give this one a go because it's something else. Dear Abby, I've been seeing my boyfriend for 5 months. He still has some of his ex-girlfriend's lingerie in his dresser. When we first got involved, he showed it to me and asked if I wanted any. I said no thanks. Now that I'm more invested in the relationship, I'd like him to get rid of it. He is currently out of town, traveling for a month. Would it be inappropriate for me to throw away these trinkets without consulting him? Signed, Setting Boundaries in Arizona.
Okay. Well, I have some notes.
I think we can address the biggest one, which is don't give anyone used lingerie. That is not a gift.
An underwear yard sale? No one's ever been like, thank God.
Okay, that's not true because honestly, like a friend of mine who is the same size.
Emma used to run a vintage lingerie shop. She's had several careers.
Okay, number one, when we were kids, my mom used to buy all of our stuff used, including our undergarments, but she would bring home bags from the Bon Marché and then put our underwear in those bags so that we thought it was coming from the Bon Marché, which only as an adult, I was like, wait a minute, my mom has never been in a Bon Marché. Like, there's no way she spent $1 there. And I was like, did you buy our undergarments used? And she was like, yeah, it was fine. They were washed. And ultimately, she's right.
She is right, ultimately.
And a few years ago, a friend of mine had put on a lot of weight during her pregnancy, and she was like, I just want all this. She had very, very expensive Victoria's Secret, like really nice bra sets, underwear sets, and that's like $100 for one of those. And she was like, do you want all this? And I was like, sure. And I wore that stuff for like 5 years. I just looked I had all this, like, I would never buy that stuff for myself, but I had like matchy sets. So I don't think it's unreasonable to wear used underwear.
Was it your boyfriend's ex-girlfriend stuff, though?
There we go.
That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing.
There is a whole other level.
Well, you said nobody would wear used underwear, and I just wanted to point out that Emma Arnold would wear used
I apologize. I realize I have to stop saying nobody in front of Emma, as she is probably going to tell me I'm wrong. That being said, though, your ex-girlfriend's lingerie is a wild thing to offer and a wild thing to keep.
Yeah.
In your own underwear drawer. It's one thing to have like an Xbox. Xbox.
Well done.
And be like, oh yeah, that's like, their shit. Pretend like they're gonna come pick it up. We know they're not gonna, whatever. But like in your active underwear drawers, that's a choice.
And also be like, hey, do you want to wear this stuff?
Yeah.
And then will you style your hair just like this? And then will you say these things?
I bought this perfume. Is it half gone? Yeah. Don't worry about it.
I have 2 ideas for what may be happening here. One, I think Emma is correct. I don't know that these are even his exes. I think he just has possibly just has a fetish for these things, that he wants to dress her up in a certain way.
Ooh,
and if you approach her in an honest conversation and be like, I find this hot, you mind wearing it? That's one thing. I think I think there's also the opportunity he might just like wearing those things, and you stumbled upon them, and he got concerned. Because why are they in his drawer?
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I think they're in his drawer because he wears them. He wasn't ready to broach that conversation with you, and he freaked them. Oh, they're my exes. Do you want them?
That
is exactly what that is.
No, I do not trust him. But I also do not think under any circumstances that you should like toss his shit while he's out of town.
No,
like, that's not how to deal with this. Like,
no.
Just an open conversation. Do it when you're both like in a peaceful place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk about it, but don't chuck it. It's weird.
Don't throw anyone's things away without asking them. That is rude. Absolutely.
It's not going to go.
There's
good.
also option number 3, and in my experience, this is the most likely, is he is still fucking that girl.
Yeah,
that's what's been my
ding.
Fair enough.
Oh, what's this extra toothbrush here for?
Oh my dog.
I like 2. I keep 2 toothbrushes, one for morning, one for night. That's.
Can I tell you something insane about me? I do have 2 toothbrushes.
Okay.
You do not.
Yes.
Morning and night?
Yes. Also, Emma, part of this is your fault. Because when we did the Boise Fest that you did the gift bags for, and then everyone had, Emma is so brilliant and put together dental packs because comedians are dog shit. Pure trash. And not only
literally after, people would be like, oh, I have a toothbrush now. And I'd be like, Jesus Christ.
There was also floss in a tiny toothpaste. So during that fest, like, I usually do not hoard gift bag stuff because I don't like having stuff, but sometimes during a festival there will be like a common item that I will set out on a personal task to go and try to abscond with for the rest. Like, that's just like my fun game. And that fest was to see how many toothbrushes I could get, and I got about 12, so good for me. But
I love it.
I also have severe like ADHD, and there's a weird sensory thing for me for brushing my teeth that I just like avoid it or put it off, and it's weird, but I think brilliantly developed a system where instead of like minimizing the sensory whatever upsetness, I just double it, and so I literally will brush my teeth with two toothbrushes
You're
at the
double
same
fisting.
time. It's crazy. It's so
I love
intense.
it.
You have to like coordinate both your hands and then like aim for the teeth. It's like a video game. It's very fun. I've upgraded since then, and I have an electrical toothbrush. And then my roommate's boyfriend accidentally dropped my electrical toothbrush in a toilet. He felt so bad about it. Cleaned it, of course. Like, told me right away. No shady business. Told me and bought me a replacement. So now I have two. Fucking in like crazy intensity. Electric toothbrush.
So you're doing, hold on, you're double fisting electric toothbrushes
and it
now.
vibrates your brain. Bro, it's crazy.
That is incredible.
But
That's-
keep
I'm
like,
happy to be a part of this journey.
I can't even
your
imagine.
teeth are
Oh,
so clean.
That's beautiful. I love that you get into a thing because I also do that at festivals. And one year, National Geographic was a sponsor of this big film festival thing I was at, and I went every time I walked by the table, I'd go, "Oh, hats," and I got 30 hats, and I still have the kids and I wore those hats for a decade. Every picture of us is in one of those blue hats, and everybody they're kind of like people be like, "Oh, you're in your blue hat." I have 2 left, but yeah, I need to go to another festival apparently.
I think like my second Bridgetown, we had those zip front hats that like had little weed. It's for drugs. It's for drugs to keep in your head. And me and Rayshawn, I think, made it out with like 10 of them. I didn't get to keep most of mine, but like, yeah, just sometimes you got to steal.
Also, my move.
Oof.
That would you look at that move?
I love that.
There
move.
were several festivals where like I'm just starving, so because I'm super broke, so I would like get pizza and then wait for the like shift change for the person, like the attendant to leave and come by, and be like, oh, look at that pizza, that's so nice, you guys. Is this for us? Is this for us? I got a crust in my hand.
Yeah.
Is this also for us? Yeah, for sure, that's the move. I think we can all agree. I think you hit the nail on the head, honestly. He's still fucking that girl. I hadn't even thought about that. That's not how my mind worked, but yeah.
Funny.
That's why that's still
business.
there.
Like very foul.
And you can't pull off it's new. You can't go, oh, I got it for you, because it's clearly not new.
I wish he would wear it.
Yeah.
I wish, like, if
Me too.
I wish he was wearing it and just wasn't ready.
That's what I was
talk
kind
about
of
it.
hoping. I think maybe that's how I come in positive into things like
Yeah.
this, where I was like, oh, maybe this is just something he's like his thing and he's uncomfortable sharing it yet. But no, you're right.
I wish it was that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, let's see if we can wrap up one more here. I think we've got a couple minutes. Where to go? Oh, this one is... Okay, we'll try this one, and it might be too intense. We might cut it. We'll see what happens.
For us?
Dear Abby.
Try us.
Dear Abby, my son's wife passed away very recently. He works days, so I've been helping him by looking after his 15-year-old daughter, Layla. Layla recently told her father that her boyfriend, Dylan, has asked her to vandalize things. TVs, Blu-ray player, etc. If her daddy... Sorry. That's how he wrote this, but I'm just understanding what she's saying. Has asked her to vandalize things, TV, Blu-ray player, etc. if her daddy enrolls her in a private school or moves her to another school closer to his company for a better education. Layla's grades aren't good, and she spends most of her time chatting or texting with Dylan. Abby, I'm really worried. The last thing Dylan asked her to do was to kill her daddy because he controls her too much. Dylan skipped a field trip. He didn't want Layla to participate either because he feared that without him, she might have a chance to make friends with others, so she didn't turn in her paperwork and stayed home. We plan to send her to a psychologist in the coming week should we bring this problem to the attention of her school principal. Thank you for your help. Signed, Worried Sick in California. Now, I started this email like, oh, this could be kind of fun. Like, funny. Like, oh, they got a bad influence boyfriend and he wants you to break the DVD player. That's pretty low risk. And then it took a turn where he wants the Slender Man her.
That is Slender Man.
Okay, I'm going to say, as a mama teens and as a troubled teen, I dated a guy, I think I was around 15, and this was like Marilyn Manson was big and all those things. And he used to try and shock me into horniness. I don't know his MO. I'm just saying this is my guess with these boys.
Oh, I've been there.
Is my guess. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to understand his motivation. He used to say really dark, scary things like, I'm going to hang my parents from a tree and blah, 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 blah. And now he is a day trader. Do you know what I mean?
That could just be goofy teen bullshit.
Yeah. And then also as a mom of teens, like you kind of just have to let your kids, I mean, within reason, obviously this girl just lost her mom. She's going through some really deep, heavy shit that this boy is capitalizing on, but you kind of just have to let them try on different hats. You know, like I know that's not a very funny answer, but like,
No, that's fine.
You kind of do just have to kind of be like, you know, like one of my kids went through this thing where he was dating this very gothy girl who was, you know, self-harmy and always like giving him these like long crying phone calls about stuff. And I kind of just had to be, and she was very controlling and stuff. And I kind of just had to be like, well, sounds stormy. You know, 'cause, like,
that's such a good summation.
And they eventually like broke up, and he, you know, I would just try to like when he would talk to me about it, I would go, I know for me, I always have felt like it, you know, it can be really hard to be in a relationship who's having violent or intrusive thoughts. You know, like I would just try to like. You know, not because if you try to tell him like break up with that girl, that's bananas.
That's the other thing.
Then he's gonna double down.
Yep.
You know, so
it's amazing
because she doesn't.
Kids talk to
she
you
doesn't
too.
feel like she has anybody, so she's like, I've got Dylan, and that's it.
Right.
So
and also 15 is that age to just like have the biggest feelings in the world and have zero coping mechanism so far, and so everything is huge. Like. Yeah, especially during an era of like Marilyn Manson stuff. Remember? That's fine. But sorry, just to go back because I really tried to listen actively for the whole time and then I failed.
Oh, it's
so the kid's dad died. No,
the
mom.
kid's
The
mom
daughter.
died.
It's
and this is the dad's mom, I believe. This is, I believe,
grandma.
This is grandma.
Okay,
yeah.
And then she's got a boyfriend that's like.
So grandma is watching the daughter, and the daughter has the boyfriend who is saying wild shit.
Suggests vandalizing the DVR. I couldn't piece that together, and then I stopped listening because I was trying to imagine.
I got confused there for a minute too, and I was like, does she mean steal them? Because that would make more sense. But then I think what he's saying is
like carve something in
to
it,
break shit. If he sends you to a different school.
Oh, God.
Because he doesn't want her going to a school that he's not.
Just threatens
I think is
shit.
what I'm getting.
Yeah, just threatens
some
wild shit.
Which, you know, this is sort of, you know, this is written from the grandma. So even that, you're like, this, you know, if teenagers have big feelings, grandmas have like big grandma feelings. You know, they're like, oh my God, my granddaughter's dating a maniac. You know, and it's really, he's
same
also
reaction.
15, you know?
As someone who doesn't have kids, though, I read this as 100% straight. This read like a Law and Order SVU episode to me, where they got to like kill your parents. I was like, oh, she's gonna kill her parents. I know how. I've seen this episode. Like it felt very real to me.
Yeah, teenagers are wild though and weird.
Yeah,
I don't think like keep going. Definitely keep seeing this boy. Like, he's absolutely like impeding her normal life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't like, but also it's hard to be like Emma said, to be like, don't see them anymore, and they're like, well, we're married and pregnant now.
Yeah. There is also the thing of, like you say, it is the most intense feeling, and everything is very intense. But it's also the good chance that it'll be that way for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like you're 15. This is gonna like cycle through.
Bad people don't get help unless they have. You know what I mean? Like people that are experiencing really bad mental health stuff. Yes, so I do think there's a risk to this daughter. Like, I don't think she's perfectly in the clear. Also, I think that boy's at risk.
No. I think moving her to another school will take care of a lot of the problem. And if it was one of my kids, what I would do is be like, I would bribe them. I would just be like, I really want to move you to this new school, and I'm going to get you a Toyota Camry. So.
Have you heard of ponies?
It is a 1999 Toyota Camry just for you. I would just make it sound like it's kind of an awesome idea. You know, and
get the fuck away from that weird kid.
What
a creepy weird kid.
That kid is very weird and creepy for sure. Like,
but
also like I do think there is something of like when I was a teenager, moving a kid to another school meant you would never see those people again. Exactly. Like that was the end of your connection, right? But that's not this now, right? Not with Facebook. God, I'm so old. With the Facebook and the internets, like, but there is, you're going to maintain that same connection. You know what I mean? It's different. Like you're going to have the ability to keep a connection with this person regardless of what school you go to.
Yeah, but he'll have less control,
That's
you know,
true.
and I think even
and she'll
just
be
sort
around
of,
more people.
Less
Like,
access as well.
Yeah.
To
I
her.
think it's sad. I guess it makes me really grateful because I have a relationship with my teenagers, like where, you know, we can have a real honest conversation
That's right.
about that. And it sounds like they don't, you know, like where I can just be like, hey, so kind of worried about your girlfriend who's threatening to murder me. Having some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
And I feel like they would roll their eyes. Like with my kids, a lot of times they'll roll their eyes a whole lot during the conversation, but I can see that it sinks in on a certain level, you know?
Okay.
And it sucks that clearly in their family, like,
Yeah.
he's just going to like move schools. You know? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Should we bring this problem to the attention of her school principal? I mean, it depends on how serious you're taking the murder. Because if you, like you said, there is always the chance, like, I said wild shit when I was a 15-year-old.
What
and, like,
specifically?
wrote, you know, I for sure wrote a lot of, I wouldn't necessarily call it, like, poetry, but just a lot of, like, getting shit out. It wasn't poetry in that it didn't, like, rhyme or wasn't prose, but just a lot of, like, sort of...
Would you call it a manifesto, Chris?
It was a little manifesty. It was a little manifest. It wasn't so much that. But it was definitely, like, violent thoughts that were just, like, that. Or, like, we would, like... You know, I had a friend that was really into making horror movies, and we would come up with, like, really horrific deaths. So you could find a lot of shit that I had written that was, like, horrific ideas of how to murder people that wasn't intended. It wasn't anything other than, like, us trying to figure out how to make a movie or whatever. But, like, if you found it and you were my grandma, you would be fucking terrible.
That could be argued as, like, a healthy outlet, though. Like, that's a healthy outlet. Also, how does she know all this?
Yeah. Like, is the daughter telling her this stuff? Is she reading diaries?
Yeah.
I feels like I'm getting a hold of a Facebook page or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because if he says it publicly, I think that's a big difference. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I will say, as a mom of sons, like, I grew up with sisters, and I have 3 little brothers, but they're much, much younger than me. And they had, like, a sister influence, you know? But raising boys, I have been surprised by, like, and I hate to make it a gender thing, but this is just my experience, is like there's a level of violence and anger that comes with testosterone that I have been like, oh, my baby boys, like stuff that stuff like you said, like they wrote about, or like they were doing a horror movie too, like stuff like that I was like, I did not have this in me, you know, as a kid. So there, I think, you know, not to say he's normal and everybody should ignore it, but also like, I don't feel like whoever found their school principal helpful in any way. Like, not a knock to like a high school principal that it has like 1,200 to 2,400 kids to keep track of.
Sure.
Yeah. Or like,
they're an administrator at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know why that would be like the first. Like, why the principal? Because like, take it up to the authorities. Is that it? Like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least she's not calling the cops.
Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like I'm 1 minute away from being like, I'm calling the police.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They will eventually call the cops, but in this moment, they're trying not to, and I'm trying to give them credit for that. And they are sending the daughter, like, the daughter is going to go see, like, a therapist or something. That's said here. So that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's good.
Do you think they'll call the cops before or after the dad's murdered, though? Or probably.
Also, maybe this is all a setup. Maybe grandma's gonna knock off the dad. She's only one kid. Like what? Like she wants that life insurance money, and she's just pinning this on Dylan. We have no idea.
It's a very clever alibi.
But it's not Dylan. Reread it for me, because I feel like Dylan told her to kill her own dad.
That is exactly right. The last thing Dylan asked her to do was kill her daddy because he controls her too much.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Okay. Yeah, Dylan is pretty. Okay.
Dylan's gross.
Okay.
Gross.
Okay.
Stop doing that.
My advice is that the grandma killed Dylan, is what I'm feeling. As a mom, I'm going to tell you.
Mama, bear that up.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know this about Emma's past. She has murdered before. She is a swing dancing murderer.
Unashamedly.
All right. Well, you guys, this has been fun. Emma, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, people can listen to my podcast. Arlo was just on it and was so funny, and people loved their episode. And it's called What's Next with Emma Arnold, and it's everywhere. And then also I have another podcast called Couple Skate with my friend Pidge, which is very fun if you like middle-aged ladies talking about middle-aged lady stuff. It's really fun, actually. And also you can watch and buy all my stuff, please.
Do all of that, please. And Arlo, how about you? Where can we find you on the internet? All that good stuff.
This is funny that you bring this up because I have another advice-themed engagement coming up. March 3rd, I'll be on a show called I Anonymous that I used to host that Brie Pruitt used to host, and now Kate Murphy hosts, based out of Portland from the Mercury. My dad and yours, Matt Bronger, will be panelists on it. That's March 3rd, and you can find the tickets at themercury.com. They'll be posting a little link for that.
So definitely check that out, even though I hate that you're doing anything else advice related, and I take that as a personal
you would
insult.
feel jealous. It makes me feel so special. It feels so good.
I am at Chris Cubis on all social media. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you like it, please rate, review, and subscribe on podcasts and wherever you can find all those things.
Be honest.
But no, I'm not like that. Lie. I don't care. Lie. If you didn't like it, say you did. 5 stars. Cost you nothing. I will be back next week. Thank you, guys.